Hola, hola, amigo. Boom, 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 boom. Hola. Yo. Oh, what the? No, what the? I'm here. I'm already. Let's still play this game after. Um, no. What no? Oh, oh, oh.
Yo. Man, you live yet?
Eat.
Wait,
3
can you hear me?
o'clock on the dot. You
Oh.
know.
Oh, you went live. Yeah, I just found out about that punk Vaughn from Chicago.
It just said,
bro.
I just found out about that punk Vaughn from Chicago. No, King Vaughn?
I'm not gonna call him that, dude. Psycho murderer. I'm not gonna call him that.
That's literally a boogeyman. Man murdered someone and posted on Twitter like the day after. Oh, what you up to, man? What the hell? Man's actually a psycho. Man, like,
Yeah.
the only rapper that actually did everything he rapped about, I believe.
I mean,
That man.
I don't know, man. Fills me with like, oh man, I'm just upset that he ever existed, bro. Right now, honestly, like, it shouldn't. I'm over it. I'm like pretty much over it. That's why I was like, oh man, like I don't even,
You got
like,
good
I can't
music.
even put.
You got some good music.
I doubt it.
I like it. I like it.
I doubt it. What an actual scumbag. Oh man, it makes me. I'm so disappointed. Like, what is the point of police? What's the point? Just to hand out tickets and stuff? Like what? Like what? What are you guys doing?
Said that punk Vaughn. That's
why
probably exactly what the detectives were saying too. That punk Vaughn.
Why did one of his own people
Well,
have to
because
think about
he's killing like
why
other
the
gang
hell
members, you know.
why the
Like,
hell was a cop not? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering halfway through. I'm like, were they letting him?
yeah.
Was he like were they just letting? They're like, hey, he's taking
Like,
him
go
out.
ahead, yeah. Like, as long as you don't kill the wrong person, go ahead. Like, you're just kind of helping us. Like, he literally got off on 1 murder charge and like 2 attempted murder charges. Like, he just had a really good lawyer, and like, I'm almost certain he probably killed those people he got off the case on. Like,
he definitely did.
literally, the cops would arrest him. Like, oh, what you out for? He's like, oh, body.
The cops don't care.
Nah, not Chicago.
The cops, absolute dude. That dude only did a year's time.
Oh yeah.
When they knew he had killed somebody.
Multiple,
like
not just somebody, like multiple people.
Like they knew he was a killer, and they had proof he had killed one person, but they obviously he's suspected of killing a bunch. But they had evidence he had proof. They had proof he had killed somebody, and he still got out of jail. How do you let him out? Never throw away the key. Put him under the jail. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I'm so disappointed at the world right now. And I'm like, dude, people shouldn't have to put up with scumbags like this, man. It's not right. It's not right. But it's the government's fault. The government creates the situation that breeds these types of psychopaths, and then they let them on the loose because they're not killing white people.
It's accurate. It's accurate.
Oh man, I'm just like, I really wish I had.
What was it? Just like a YouTube video or something?
Yes, yes, it's always YouTube.
What did it say? What was like the title? Like,
this about me, but I have YouTube on 24/7. Either I'm asleep to it or I'm paying attention, but it's always on.
I bet you the title, man, was like the Boogeyman of Chirac or some shit. The Grim Reaper of Chirac.
No, Rap's first verified serial killer.
Okay, Rap's first verified serial killer. That
dude, he fit the very description of it.
Oh yeah, he was
you
a
just
serial
have to kill 3 times, and it's like, okay, so if you kill twice, you're not a serial killer. If you kill 2 people at once, you're not a serial killer. If you kill 5 people at once, you're not a serial killer. You're a mass. And now,
killer. But imagine not only killing them, but then going singing on multiple songs, saying their names out loud. Like,
but see, here's the thing. That's not Chicago didn't invent that culture. Chicago waited 20 years after Oakland created that culture and then copied them. Right? So Oakland is the birth of crack dealers, crack killers, and people rapping about the lifestyle. It's the birth of it. Everyone else is like, that's why honestly, 10 years ago, I still don't have any respect at all. I've been in Chicago before. Like, I have absolutely zero respect for these people. I'll tell them to their face. They could pull a gun out on me if they want to. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. Excuse the other. Like, I have no respect because I grew up around that shit. I'm not intimidated by it. It's annoying to me. I hate ghetto black dudes. Like, I hate ghetto black dudes with a passion.
BD on King David? Needless to say, you're not BD on King David?
Definitely not. I think that shit's all retarded. I think they're clowns. I think they laugh about it like it's a joke when really they just make themselves look bad. And I think that the fact that America allows that to transpire, like America was getting paid, they were funding their own illegal wars off the backs of black communities, Latin American communities, impoverished communities across the country. They continue to do this. They literally have spawned these creatures into existence, and then they don't even take them out. You leave food to rot in the kitchen, and then you don't deal with the cockroaches that you've manifested. It's just like it's rot.
You see how he passed away?
What's that? No, I stopped watching. I'm glad. I'm just glad.
Well, I'll summarize it for you.
On record, I am so happy that somebody killed that motherfucker.
He was at a club. He walked up to one of his oppositions, punched him in the face. They started scrapping. His boy just pulled out a gun and shot him. And then everyone was around. Like the dude he hit.
But I watched it on camera. It wasn't inside of a club. It was outside.
Oh, yeah, it was right outside. Like, that's what I'm saying. He saw him in the club.
Just watching those people behave the way they are. Some of them coming up to other ones, punching them in the fucking face as the victims do nothing. Like, I just don't understand how these people have been living their lives. It's just like it's like, oh man, it's to me.
The saddest part though, like, because there's some people who've gotten like inside of like the O block where they're all from, like little apartment complex where they all like grow up and stuff. And like there's kids in there that are like 13, 12, 10, and they're like, oh, it's really not that bad a place. It's pretty safe. There's only like 3 or 4 shootings a day. Like that's safe to them. If there's only a couple shootings a day, it's a good day. It's a safe day outside.
It makes me really upset that we allow this to transpire. Like it's just not. Dang, dude. It's just.
Also, there's like almost no solution though.
Other
than like eradicating, but I don't really know. I don't know if that's an option.
There are solutions, man. There are solutions. When we had something that what we did to our structures that were like that, we burned them to the ground. We arrested everybody that was in them, and then we burnt those buildings to the ground. And that's what they should do. They should. I mean, like, look now, like, they dropped a bomb in Chicago on the building that Frank Hampton Fred Hampton.
That's because they're doing good stuff.
I know, bro. Why don't they drop a couple bombs on this neighborhood, bro?
Because why would they? So they can get better? You know why? That's not what they want. They don't want them. You know.
I just, oh man, it makes me so. Yeah, I gotta stop thinking about this. The only thing that will come from that is more violence.
Real, that's true.
But like, dude, the first thing I want, like 15 minutes into the documentary, I just wanted to call the Chicago PD and start cussing them out, dude. You fucking useless pieces of shit. God damn, dude. I always thought the Bay Area was like at least it was contained here, because it seemed like when I would go I've never been to these parts of Chicago, but it's not. It wasn't.
I mean, you ever seen
Kensington? I don't know where that is. Isn't that in Alabama?
No, I don't know exactly. I think it's like Philly. I could be wrong though, but it's like they call it like real life, like zombie fucking. Like it's pretty much like zombies because everyone there is so tweaked out on drugs. There's literally heroin needles everywhere. Like a chick was using her needle. She said for floss. They're like, is that a common thing? That's a common excuse. They're like, yeah, it's a common excuse for them. They say they're using the needles for floss. No one believes that. But like, literally, like kids going to school, walking past hundreds of like tweaked out fucking.
I used to call it 28 Days Later when I was a kid, and it existed already then, and there's no reason why 20 years later America hasn't done something about it, bro. We've made the problem worse. We're in bed with the cartels. The U.S. government's the largest drug dealer in the world, and this is the result of it. This sort of chaos on the streets, people thinking that they're that brazen is because the law doesn't do anything about it to look away. So, I mean, like at the same time that I'm angry at what I'm seeing, like makes me hate ghetto black dudes even more than I already hated them growing up. But on top of that, it makes me like I'm not stupid, and I don't blame them. I blame the government. It's the government's. They are what they are, and they're horrible pieces of shit. Some of the worst excuses of life that have ever existed. But the government it's their fault for creating these monsters. It's 100% the government's fault. And poor people in the hood have to fucking live with these animals as their neighbors, and that's not right. It's fucking that's
and
not right.
To an extent turn into it or get fucking destroyed, you know? When you live in that environment, you don't really have too many other options, because you know, you don't get jumped, like, because you're not.
Part of the documentary talks about how the urbanization, the rapid expanse of urban populations led to the golden era of serial killers between 1970 and the year 2000. And by the year 2000, too many people started having cameras in their pockets. But before then, before 1970, there weren't enough people that you could just fall in the system. But right away, I'm like, that's how I was allowed to be bred. Like, I don't have any respect for law. I break it all the time. I'll beat people up in public and walk away, go home, because there's too many people here. If I wanted to, keep in mind, if I was a murderer, I could have killed people a dozen times over in my lifetime and gotten away with it. I could have been another King Von. But the thing is like, I'm not an evil psychopath. I might be crazy at times. I have to question. I mean, I have to just decide that that's not really up for me to decide. Like, sometimes I kind of question my own train of thought or some of the things that have happened to me in the past, like the time where I felt like I was high on acid for like 2 weeks straight in a row. And I have to question my own mental state at times. I'm just being honest. Like I'm not infallible there. So, but I'm really grateful that I haven't taken it far. I mean, I've been angry enough at times where I feel like I could probably take this person's life, but I've never lost myself in that anger. Hope you're doing all right. You too, Zazzy. But like, long story short, like the fact that we're overpopulated and I grew up in a city like San Francisco. I mean, in my travels when I was young and I worked for an airline, people used to always meet me, and the first thing they'd be like, "Aren't you scared to be walking around here? Like you're like you don't even, you kind of look like a nerd. Like what are you even doing here?" And I'm like,
I have absolutely no fear because of growing up in San Francisco and seeing the crazy ass things that I grew up around. I grew up in that level of violence, gunshots every single night. My parents worked really hard to get us out of that neighborhood. And now it's one of the most expensive places to live in the world. The Mission District in San Francisco. It's in the top 5% of places. Me and almost all of my, except for my richest family members, have been driven out of that neighborhood. It's so expensive to live in now. But when I grew up in that neighborhood, nobody wanted to live there, and it was gunshots every single night. I just got used to it. I'm to this day don't flinch when I hear gunshots. They register. I'm just like, oh, more gunshots. It doesn't trip me out. The last time someone was firing a gun 10 feet away from me at people, trying to kill them and stuff, everybody's scrambling, ducking to the ground, and I just stood my ground and watched it all go down. Like I ain't getting down on my knees for nobody. I ain't no bitch. I'd rather die on my feet. I've seen enough violence to where I may die of it one day, and that's something I accepted years ago. And so I understand how, and I know other people that took it to people that I ran with that didn't have that level of restraint, and they just literally became monsters. I watched it happen before my eyes. And everyone has that decision, and if you live if you live in a big city, you have that option to become a monster too, just like I am. You don't want to mess with me. Like I've already accepted it. I might die in a jail cell one day, or by the hands of someone else. It might happen. That's the price of keeping it real, and that's why I'm at home playing video games like every day of my life, because I don't want to encounter the evil that's out there, the evil that the government has allowed to happen. Like, it's the government's fault. It's that I had to deal with every problem on my own ever. And I dealt with a lot of problems. I've had people stab me, shoot at me, try to kill me before, and I had to deal with it all on my own. So it has bred me to be way tougher than your average American, like way more ruthless, way more ready. Way more ready. That's the only thing I could consider myself. I haven't killed anybody, but I am so ready to do it. Like, I've been pushed too close to that edge. I am exactly the type of stock material that you would turn into one of these savage murderers. But I just haven't gone there yet. So I can tell you from firsthand, I had, like, when I was younger and I thought that life and America and the world, the trajectory was up like this. It's not. It's full of ups and downs. It's full of pitfalls. You can fall through the system just like everyone else can, just as easily. It really only takes two things: being rural enough or being urban enough. The in-between is very hard. But if you are urban enough and your life is so horrible that you don't even care anymore if you die or you live, then shit's gonna start to happen. And if you are rural enough that you are just out there on your own, shit's gonna start to happen. That's from what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed. The government needs to take better, if they care about. By the way, you would think on paper, like when I have arguments with my neighbor about how I feel like they need to put a bunch of laws into action right now around just a million of new emerging technologies, like self-driving cars, drones, AI. Like he like growing up with me and knowing the type of like psycho that I am, that no one can tell me anything. Like no one, not even the law, can tell me a single word about my life. It will not end badly. I've gotten into fights multiple. I've been arrested for resisting arrest. Like every time I got arrested, I resisted arrest. Anytime someone's ever tried to pull me over, I ran. Every single time a cop has knocked on my door, I've been out the back door. I absolutely will not be addressed. You won't say anything to me. If you think you can say something to me, I'm gonna punch you in the face before you can finish your sentence. I promise you that. Like, that's the type of person I am. That's how I am. Couple things made me that way. When I was a little kid, I was raised to be tough, and that shit stuck. As I grew up, I learned how fucked up and the government is, and how it's their fault for all this stuff. So you ain't, as a government official, you're not gonna tell me shit. I have no respect for you. So I'm just kind of like it's not like a complicated thing. It's simple. This is how these things happen. You treat people poorly, they will get upset and not want to take the abuse any further. And if you're living in ghetto, that is oppression, that is abuse. If you're living poor, that lifestyle is the thing that will send you over the edge. That's why these psychos usually come from impoverished neighborhoods, or again, on the other spectrum, as rural as in society as you could be, a rich person has exclusivity. They have privacy. And these things breed the same thing that rural space will do. And it also breeds killers, a different type. Not as more passive, I feel like more secretive.
Yeah.
Like urban psycho killers are more brash about it. And secluded secluded killers, they're like
They'll bury. They'll have 100 bodies in their yard.
Yes.
And you won't even know until
won't know.
someone comes and excavates because they're gonna build a pool, and they bought the house 20 years later. And like, what the hell? There's 50 bodies under here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they always
These are
have
like-
been. Oh, look at all these people that went missing.
And you have to ask yourself what America has done more than anybody is we've created killers. So it's just it's something that America does. And you kind of
Let's go, America #1, baby.
Man, we produce them at every age. We produce the most efficient ones. It's fucked up.
Hell, there was that one the other day. I guess it wasn't a serial killer, but
That's actually crazy.
Oh.
What happened? Another one?
Nah. Dude just killed fucking his classmate, like stabbed like 114 times. I said the only reason he stopped is because the knife broke.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Fuck, dude. Fuck, dude.
Anyways, I should not watch the documentary about a serial killer this morning in America because it made me real upset about. Again, it's the government's fault, man. They breed this. It's they and if they can't if a layman like me can understand it, they have to. They're responsible. It's their responsibility to, and they haven't. They failed us and all that. Anyways, just another reminder to be as happy as you possibly can and live every day to the fullest. And just enjoy yourself. That's the trick. There's no other trick to life. Even as rich as you get, you still have to force yourself to be happy. And it's not an easy thing for people, apparently.
Easy thing.
Your invite disappeared, but I sent you an invite. And I can't join you like I did yesterday. That was weird.